This way. This way. Damn it, it's just a wall. This map is not supported. Come on, the Dragonfire must be somewhere. I mean, a story filled with dragons. I don't see any dragons yet. I want proper dragons, not alien type of dragons. Now that is a dragon. Oh, come on, it's all the best you got. I was looking for new Dalek designs here. Now that is a new Dalek design. I was expecting more than the haunted house with ghosts. But what about field effects like light effects? Really? I have to say every line on this episode. I just say light. I'm blind, I can't see! Hello everyone, welcome to another video of the Classic Who reviews. And today's video, I'm going to talk about the Seventh Doctor, aka Sylvester McCoy, who played the Doctor between 1986 to 87 to 1989. So, and yeah, shame it would have been the Doctor before longer since 1989, but anyway, so the show's history, it cancelled, so let's go. So yeah, if you have watched my other videos of the Classic Who reviews, this is the last video of the Classic Who's of the between Doctor 1 to 7, but I will still do it. We'll do the 8 to 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 Doctors, but if you can't, so comment below, tell me which Doctors you want me to review for each of these months, and I release these videos each month, but it has to be one story in each of their seasons. So I've got the stories ready, and let's go for it. Yes, and I paint my umbrella with paint, but Mum said I should paint with paint spray, but anyway, I'm gonna show off anyway. Yeah, see, yeah, right, yeah. Ace. So here we go. The Seventh Doctor, Sylvester McCoy, who plays the Seventh Doctor between the Doctor back in the 80s. So what do you think about Sylvester McCoy as the Seventh Doctor? Well, I say he's pretty much the best Doctor I ever imagined knowing. When me and Mum watched the Remembrance of the Daleks, it see how aged we was, and he was pretty much a very comedic Doctor, and and also had some manipulation type. And because I would have furthered that Richard Griffiths should have been the Doctor, playing much like his role. But I do say that he's the probably most popular Doctor, and had the stages of since his last season was in season 26, and I think that ever since the show was cancelled, and I was ashamed that Sylvester McCoy didn't get his proper ending that he would have wanted, or maybe Carmel would have wanted. But I think it just I would have thought the show would have continued on for maybe a few seasons with Sylvester McCoy. But anyway, that was the history, and Jonathan Powell had to axe it out. I had theories on what the show would have been if the show was not being cancelled. But I'm trying to do with fandoms of being cancelled eras, and I'm trying to figure out how the season was not to be cancelled, and I'm trying to figure out how Dayton would have been the Doctor then. But it's possible that made Dayton as a Doctor when the show was not cancelled. But anyway, yeah, we got Tatum as the Doctor. We got our wish, but it's pretty much what we can get so far. I do like his companion, not Molly Lamford. I know she's coming back as the companion in series 14 with the 15th Doctor, Suchi Gatra, but I'm not sure yet. But it is. I don't like Mel as a companion, but I do like his next companion, Ace. Ace, the most proper companion, has Nitro 9. Teenage action. I would say Ace was pretty much the best companion of the Seventh Doctor. He was also the last companion of the Seventh Doctor. Finally got her back from on last year episode of Doctor Who, The Power of the Doctor. And we would have uncovered what happened to her after she left the Doctor. And she left her, abandoned her, yeah, that's all we can get. I was to the point I learned about that. So I will cover what Ace departure would have been, and also the season would have done with cancel after the stories I will review. So I've got the stories ready, so let's go. So the first ever story, it will be Dragonfire. Was written by Ian Briggs. The story, you see the Doctor and Mel arriving on a traded colony world named Ice World, on the planet Zatos, where the Doctor discovers his surprising friend Savalon Glitz, and also a waitress who knows Ace. And they must uncover about treasure underneath Ice World called Dragonfire, and also a mysterious dragon lives underneath Ice World, and an overlord named Kane was do whatever he can to get the treasure and claim it with his own plans. So what to think about Dragonfire in this story? This was to be Ace's first proper story, and I would say that Dragonfire was pretty most popular story in the show in Sylvester McCoy's era, and I would say it's like a twisty story, very cringy. Me like it was. I do like how Ace was debuted in that story, and it's how he continued with the Seventh Doctor during the future seasons. And I do like where around the setting of Ice World, a little ice planet, ice caves and ice cafes. It was pretty much a good setting, I would imagine, how Ian Briggs would have worked on that story and make Ace a proper companion for the Seventh Doctor. And it had my theory when Mel left that this was Bonnie Lamford's last story of the show, and I would have thought how he left the Doctor before he went with Glitz, and how did he end up on the Centenary special where we need all the companions. That's getting confusing. How she end up on Earth because we was Savalon Glitz? What happened to Savalon Glitz? How was Mel there? I don't know. Maybe happen the big finishes, or not, or maybe will happen in the future. I'm not sure, but we'll see. So I would say the story, this Dragonfire was pretty much the cringy story. So I'm giving that story 7 out of 10. That's my opinion. Yours could be very different. So the next story is the most popular story ever of Doctor Who, and it's also the Seventh Doctor faces deadliest enemies, and that's the Daleks in Remembrance of the Daleks, written by Ben Wanovich. The story sees the Doctor and Ace arriving in 1963, where they discover the Daleks are looking for an ancient Gallifreyan weapon called the Hand of Omega, and the Doctor must do everything he can to keep the secret of the Time Lord's time travel from the Dalek from his deadliest enemies. This story is pretty the most popular story. My mum watched it, and he's pretty much funny with the Daleks, and also I always like the bit. Everyone likes the bit when Ace hit the Dalek with a cricket bat.
Calling smoke.
Yeah, it was pretty much funny bit. So I think that this story was pretty popular. The Dalek settings and also the effects, explosions, it was pretty a big one for the show's history. It was in season 25 in its 25th anniversary, and it was to see how bigger the Daleks' threat are. It was also the final story of this Dalek Civil War that I heard of. It started around since season 21, and yeah, I would have thought that the Dalek invasion, the Dalek conquest of their civilization war would end there, and not the very future then. But I would have thought that the civil war of the Daleks would have end maybe the future, not in this one. But Remembrance of the Daleks, I would have thought that imagine conquest of the Daleks. That's a story I would imagine that the two Daleks would have worked together after the Scar was destroyed. But anyway, I would say that's all I can say about the story. Remembrance of the Daleks is pretty the most popular story in the show's history. So I'm giving that story as Tubble Plus 10 out of 10. That's my opinion. Yours go very, very different. And the next and final story of the Seven Doctors era, and it's also around the last season of the Classic Who review. It's to be Ghostlight. Was written by popular writer Mark Platt. The story sees the Doctor and Ace arriving at a haunted house named Gabriel Chase, when Ace found out what this house is, as he'd been there since he burned the house down when she was 13, and when she said some strange evil force in there. What was the evil force that Ace felt? And that's when the Doctor take her back in time to Victorian times to discover what's evil about the light that everyone is afraid of. So what do you think about Ghostlight in that story? This story is pretty a nice one, a pretty another popular good story, and it was pretty much like much like a fan-based horror. I heard another horror story was around Big Finish. Was called Night Thoughts. It was supposed to be another Classic Who episode, but that didn't come to be. I looked at unmade episodes.
Google.
Yeah, it's a pretty another very much like Dragonfire, another cringy story I might like. And it's horror. It's not how feel horror. I mean, it didn't feel like much like a ghost haunted type of story, but it's just about the man who owned the house, who was pretty much an alien who has a fungus mutation in it, and had some moths. It's insects. Yeah, it's another insect episode again, but like the web planet. So yeah, I would say that Ghostlight was pretty a most popular story, and it's also this story made Mark Platt most popular story in the show, and he would have written and we would have seen his next story of season 27 was Thin Ice. It was or Ice Time. That was renamed because of Thin Ice was already mentioned on Capaldi's episode. It would have been seen the Ace departure and would have made the return of the Ice Warriors. Mark Platt made the most idea of bringing the Ice Warriors back. I would have seen that. So that's it for Ghostlight. So I'm giving that story 8 out of 10. That's my opinion. Yours are very, very different. And that's it for the Seven Doctors era. If we got and also the Classic Who reviews. I wish I could move on about what the future, but it's not a made or classic or cancel years. But anyway, yeah, I just accepted the ended there and ended there with the Seven Doctors video. So that's it, and I will see you next time on the next video of the Eighth Doctor's era. So there's not much to talk about him. He only did a movie and vehicle. So I'll release a video maybe next week or maybe around August. I'm not sure, but we'll see. But we'll see. Yeah. So I will release the Eighth Doctor's era and also the Ninth Doctor's era with Christopher Eccleston. So you can come below and tell me which stories we'll be reviewing next month with the Ninth Doctor, Christopher Eccleston. But it has to be one story. Well, well, you can choose any story you want in his season because he only did one season. So comment below which story want me to review in his Eccleston. So he can choose any story you want for him. Go. It could be 4, 3, so like 4 stories or 3 between 4, 3. So comment below which stories we'll review for Christopher Eccleston's review, and go on my Facebook and I'll do a live stream of Eccleston, not the 8th Doctor, but I will do the 8th Doctor's review on YouTube, not on Facebook. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time, Aces, and Talio. Ace, where are you, Ace? Hello everyone, I'm Blue, and you know me all the other videos I've made all the time. So let's start my next review. Now, this Lee's done, so let's do my review. Blue, what are you doing? Time to leave. It's over. But I just got here. Anyway, I just want to talk about my next review. I said time to leave.